Last week, traders were mainly focused on the risks of renewed lockdown measures. Thus, California, Chicago and Detroit had to tighten lockdowns amid a record rise in new coronavirus cases in the US. Against this background, the demand for safe haven assets has increased. However, the US currency did not get any support. The US dollar index finished the week with a 0.65% gain near the 92.72 mark, but with a prospect of further decline. Early in the week, the US dollar advanced after Joe Biden was declared a winner of the US presidential election. In addition, the trial of the coronavirus vaccine from Pfizer and BioNTech turned out to be 90% effective. However, the sentiment weakened again as more details came in about the development of the vaccine and it being unavailable. Later on, the data showed that inflation rate in consumer and manufacturing sectors decreased, while consumer confidence worsened, which signals a further slowdown in inflation. By the end of the week, the euro managed to win back some of its early losses against the US dollar, but still closed the weekly session down by 0.45% at 1.1835. Investors do not rush to buy the euro, especially amid the current epidemiological situation in Europe. On Friday, more than 23,500 new coronavirus cases were recorded in Germany, the highest level since the beginning of the pandemic. Meanwhile, France overtook Russia to become the fourth hardest hit country in the world. As for the monetary policy in Europe, ECB head Christine Lagarde mentioned the possibility of implementing additional fiscal stimulus as early as December and warned about increased downturn risks for the economy. She noted that the impact of the pandemic is now likely to continue to weigh on economic activity well into 2021. The pound is in a better condition at the moment as it finished the week at 1.3212, having gained 0.45% against the US dollar. In the course of the week, the pound-dollar pair hit the 2-month high. However, the uncertainty around the coronavirus situation may soon weigh on the British currency. Besides, negotiations between the UK and the EU are still going on, and the EU summit on November 19 is seen as the final deadline for draft Brexit deal, which puts pressure on the pound. Bitcoin also managed to reach its highest level last week. The price of Bitcoin has surged above $16,000 for the first time since 2018. Many technical analysis experts see this as a signal for the formation of a sustainable uptrend. The demand for the number one cryptocurrency has increased after PayPal announced that account holders in the US can now buy, hold and sell Bitcoin directly with the payment service. Commodity assets also closed the previous week in the green. Brent added 7% to settle at $42.82 per barrel. However, the upward movement is unlikely to continue this week due to persistent concerns about short-term fuel demand, as the number of coronavirus cases keeps rising all over the world. In addition, the recent data from the US Energy Information Administration also limits the rise in oil prices. The report showed that US oil inventories unexpectedly rose in the first week of November. Moreover, the increase in Libyan oil supply puts additional pressure on the market. Meanwhile, last week gold could not fully recover from the news on coronavirus vaccine as it spurred the demand for risk assets. In Friday, gold finished the session at $1,889 per troy ounce, which is down by 3.5% from the opening levels. Yet in the long term, it's supported by the prospects for further monetary stimulus. So far this year, the precious metal has gained almost 24%, as it's still considered a hedge against inflation and currency devaluation. You've watched the combined review of currency and commodity markets on InstaTV with me, Anna Kasatkina. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to always keep track of all the latest events on financial markets. Bye.